Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real. It's a pocket rocket in the house, and man, what a night of drag racing we've got. I'm up here in the box for the moment. The boys are just warming up. They're doing their isometrics. They're getting fired up like a boxer. We got Mark, Mr. Holden, Thomas up here, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, and I say that truly because he is a legend, Stephen Bush.
Thank you very much, Stu. What a fantastic night we have in front of us here at Sydney Dragway. Of course, Stu will be outside roaming around with the track mic. If you see him, give him a shout out and tell us what you've been up to with your car. And if you've had any work done to your machine, let us know who did it, what they've done, and what you're hoping to run here tonight as our first pair of cars make their way down the racetrack. An 062 light for the car in the Aeroflow lane. How's that for a start?
Mate, that's pretty smart straight off the trailer, isn't it?
It's pretty sharp first pass.
Yep.
Catch me if you can.
Yeah, that's impressive. Hey, Mark and Stephen, just looking at this car down here in the rocket lane, I'm actually trying to work out what it is.
It's a
Corona wagon.
Corona wagon, yeah. I think it's got an old school three-hole... I don't know if it's a carby
imitation.
Injector hat on it.
Yeah,
so I'm guessing that it hasn't got the Toyota motor in it anymore.
Not unless they're screwed it to the taper cover.
No, that's it.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we've got the live stream going. Of course, we've streamed by YouTube all around the world, so welcome to our international viewers. I'd like to say a big hello to the Gus man. He was one of the first people to tune in. He was ready to go. What's going on, Gus man? Of course, Ace is on as well. Did you get a taxi or an Uber, Gus man? On that note, I'm going outside. I will leave you with Steve and Mark.
Thanks there, Stu. So Stu will be out there roaming around, getting all the good gossip.
little bit of forward-on-forward crime about to go down the racetrack. We've got the earlier model in the Rocket Lane, and FPV model in the Aeroflow lane. So bike competitors building out in the staging lanes behind the tower, of course. They've just talking to Michael Riches and Jesse Barnes, two of our regular racers in modified bike. Of course, Michael on that little 750, he's had a fair bit of work done since we last saw him, and hoping for some big improvements. Not yet going to run the nitrous tonight, but definitely looking for some improvements with some new fuel management systems on board. 1285 with a 1:15 mile an hour there for the FPV in the Aeroflow lane, to a 14.8 for, I think it was the EL Falcon in the Rocket lane there, Mark.
Indeed. Well, talking of really nice cars, we've got two down here. We've got an absolutely mint HSV VP sedan.
Yes.
And we've got an old Ford next to it.
No, I think it's a Chevy.
Nah.
I think it is
Oh,
a
is
Chev,
it?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Can't be too bad. It lifted the front wheels on the head of the throttle. 12.001, 105 mile an hour.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't get any closer to a level of the second pass, can you?
No. Yeah, about 1,000, so it's pretty close. We could nearly give it to him, but we'll see what the night brings for... Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a sport of thousands, right?
Oh, God, bloody princesses.
All right, big burnout there from Brian Addising in the VY Commodore in the Rocket lane, taking on his partner Sammy Joe in the Aeroflow lane.
Well, great reaction from Brian.
Yeah, but Sammy's got the performance at the top end. Drives on around Brian at the top end. 11.56 with a 7, 118 mile an hour for her in the Aeroflow lane, to a 12.40 at 111 for Brian in the Rocket lane there, Mark.
I think I would be getting that car out to a engine builder somewhere. Sneakily. Yep. And
with the secret stash of money that he's got somewhere that Sammy doesn't know anything about.
You could sell a liver or something like that.
Yeah, or no, just sell some old stuff out of the shed on Marketplace.
Yep.
Someone will want it.
And just throw a bit more horsepower in there to make it a little bit more even, or just a little bit over even.
Yes. Yeah, it will so point going even. You got to get at least 20 or 30 extra.
Yeah.
Percent, that is.
I think it's called forced induction.
Yes, yes. Something that spins and creates air pressure.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't stipulate which. It's just got to spin and create air
That's
pressure.
right. Just got to create lots of horsepower.
Yes.
That's all it's got to do.
Pair of Commodores on the start line here now. The Aeroflow lane was going for the light there, Mark. 026 red.
Yep.
And a 14.54 with a 7, 107 mile an hour.
And 15.0, 58 miles an hour. So, yeah, definitely a bit of a problem for the Rocket lane. But no problems for these cars down in the burnout. I can see 2 parachutes. That just means fun.
Yes, yes. And perhaps a little bit of nervousness when you're not quite sure what the car's going to react like under parachutes. But we know Ernest Hudson's done plenty of passes here in the Toyota Celica, and he's getting further and further down the racetrack. We hope that he does solve his issue with this car recently, getting the nitrous on board, and it's been backfiring a fair bit at the top end of the rev range. So obviously no issue in the burnout there. Not sure if he has that armed for the burnout, but the Cleveland power plant making plenty of horsepower. In beside, we have this Commodore wagon. Now, I think we were talking to the gentleman a while ago now. And again, big flashes of flame out the pipes for Hudson in the rocket lane. Still rolls through for an 866 with a 3, 149 mile an hour.
And 9.0, 150 miles an hour for the VH wagon.
Yeah, I think we're talking to I think Stewie spoke to the owner of the VH wagon a few weeks ago, and runs a turbo LS from memory.
Yep.
With a fairly decent sized turbo on it. So
that was a step in the right direction, boys, for Ernie. I was just concentrating on the bottom of the car there, Mark and Steve. And you could just start to see a faint little bit of orange coming out of it. More, probably just around three-quarter track, maybe just before it. But it wasn't as prominent on this pass. So it's starting to get where he wants it. Now, he's only changing one thing at a time.
Joe Sorbello on another run in his Skyline, 902, 153 mile an hour, 054 light.
Yep. 9.7, 145 for the rocket lane. It'd be interesting to have a look at the data coming out of the Celica to see how it reads, you know, like each pass, is it...
Well, I'm assuming that most ignition systems now have some sort of mapping facility that you could look, but you've got to have the facility to be able to download and view those graphs and the outputs if there is any.
Yeah, well, you think it'd be, like it'd be managed like Howtech or Motec or something like that in it. They give you just so much data in there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, it's great to see the guys from Sydney Random Riders here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And Matt Duff on the Harley out with a .059. It's great to see Matt back out racing again. A lot of these riders, Steve, getting you some practice ready for Saturday for the Speed Addict Clothing Company New South Wales State Championship Series.
Yeah, of course, our next round of the track championships here at Sydney Dragway with a full schedule of all of our Sportsman races. Everything from junior drag bike all the way up to supercharged outlaws and top Sportsman.
Well, Steve, I heard one of my favourite bikes go rolling down into the staging lanes earlier. The GT 750.
Yes.
Geez, that sounds nice. I think it's just for an old bike. Well, it's an old bike that's been restored absolutely immaculately with a lot of good stuff thrown into it.
And I think that's the beauty of the older style bikes, that they've gone through a massive resurgence, haven't they? In actually fight, because there probably wasn't in terms of, in comparison to cars, there wasn't as many made, so they're actually very rare to get one that is complete, or to be able to find the parts if you're restoring one or rebuilding one or modifying one. It's all well and good to say, I want to build this, but with what?
Well, this was the era of hand-built chambers.
Yes.
On two strokes, and they just have a sound of their own. They sound sensational.
All right, the Aeroflow lane with a better reaction time there, but the rocket lane moving quicker, straight down the centre of the lane for the rocket. And runs on through for a 10.65 with a 145 mile an hour through the finish line.
And 16.6, 78 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Well, boys, we've got Michael Richards down here in the Aeroflow lane. Of course, one of our officials, Steve, but he's got the new Fuel Tech computer on board. Paul Mahayat from Elite Race Parts has helped him out a lot with the bike and setting that computer up, aiming to try and get the record for a C modified bike. He wants to get this bike into the sevens. 750 Jaxa.
10-0, 143 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
And a 10.29 with a 6 at 134 for Michael there. We see Jesse on the big high ball, so just winding it up, but just getting around him at the top end of the racetrack.
Actually, I take that back. It may not be a 7, but I know he's aimed to get that record. C modified bike. I know that Albie Davison has been talking to him a fair bit as well. Of course, those guys all pit together now at the state championship rounds.
Yeah, he said earlier that he's sitting in, Michael's sitting in third, tied with Albie and I don't know if it was Bobby Joe, I think it was Bobby Joe Simmons, I think he said.
Yeah, it's great to see that guy that started off that bike originally, Steve's just starting off a street bike, and Mark, we used to watch it, we've watched it a fair bit in standard street trim. Now stepping it up with the new Fuel Tech computer on board, look, extended swing arm as we all know, so exciting times ahead for Michael Riches. He's got another JAXA down here with the extended swing arm.
The Aeroflow lane off for a good run, a 9.60 with a 9, 148 mile an hour through the finish line.
And 11.8, 114 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Two very different styles of motorcycle on the racetrack right now. Although both very upright riding positions,
Yeah,
though.
they
That's
are,
probably
yep.
the similarity.
Harley just a little bit more stretched out.
Yes, I guess because your arms are up higher. We followed a Harley with the higher bars when we drove to Willowbank. It didn't look like he was enjoying it. I don't know how long he'd been on the road for, but I think he was pretty desperate for a chance to pull in and get the arms down and get the blood flow back.
Well, Steve, we've got Hollywood down here in the Aeroflow lane. Of course, was a massive player in the Street Fighter class last year at our state champ rounds. He is racing this weekend. Just put a new 2.5-inch exhaust on the Hyundai. So just seeing whether it can get a little bit more power and also get his eye in. And an 048, I'll tell you what, it's not bad.
Yeah, good pair of lights actually. 040 for the Hyundai and an 069 in the Rocket Lane.
Yeah, anything with a 0 in front of it, got to be good.
So this first round of racing, we've got 3 or 4 O lights already.
Yep.
Commodore in the Rocket Lane just walking over towards the wall. He went 005 red. And a 10.92 with a 6, 126 miles an hour.
And 12.5 at 126 miles an hour also. Some big miles an hour for that car in the Aeroflow lane. We've got the Corona wagon down in the Aeroflow lane. We might get Stu down there later to grab hold of the guy and see what he's shoehorned up under the bonnet.
Yeah, I guess it just goes to show, isn't it? It's something a little bit different and it's caught our attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I'll go for a wander through the pits. I'll go have a chat with Michael and see how he feels about his first pass down the strip with the new computer on board to see how he felt it. It did slip the tyre a little bit. But, I mean, this is only a street prep. It is not a race prep. So it'll be a lot different to what he's used to this weekend. We welcome Tim back this week as well. He's brought the Ducati Panigale out. Of course, I interviewed him the other week. It's great to see him back enjoying Aeroflow. Casper, great to see you back, mate. Were you happy with your first pass?
Oh, extremely happy. Just get up the strip and have a bit of fun with the guys. A bit of a slow 9.9, but we'll see if we can improve on the night and hopefully maybe get the front wheel up for the crowd.
Yeah, well, you guys tend to like doing that. Tell me, mate, I haven't seen you race for a little while. Has there been any changes to the bike?
Oh, huge changes. So I mean, first obvious one, turbo GT28 on 5-turn throttle, 6 pounds of boost. You're nearly 1.5 horsepower per kilo. So I don't see none of the cars guys keeping up with this. Well, street cars anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly right, well, mate. It is fantastic to see you back, Casper, because one of the likeable characters, as are all our motorcycle riders as well. Now, just waiting for Michael to come round, so we'll throw it back upstairs, and I'll get over with Michael when he comes around.
Thanks there, Stu. A little bit of a fair bit of smoke actually coming out of that Corona.
It was. It got left the start line, and I could see a light on the dash of some form, whether that was the shift light or what, I don't know, and that the smoke didn't get any better from there, and unfortunately looks like there is a little bit of attention just on the start line. Luckily, yes, that's right, Ben. It was breathing a little heavy on its first pass, but we hope that it looks like it's just locally on the start line, so it shouldn't be too long. We're about to get our next pair down the racetrack. But nothing wrong with, what do you say, 1.5 horsepower per kilo?
Yes, yeah, and a slow 9-second pass.
Is there such,
there's
no such thing as a slow 9? Yeah, no, I don't think so. Not on a bike.
No, not on anything, I think. Not, anything with a 9's great.
All right, we've got the Tesla in the Aeroflow lane taking on the Subaru in the Rocket lane here. And a 189 60 foot for the Tesla.
Tesla's not a bad run there for a good pass. 12.0, 112 miles an hour.
And a 17.1 for the Subaru in the Rocket lane there. And a pair of Subarus coming up to the start line. The later model over in the Rocket lane.
I was doing a bit of work with some Tesla stuff during the week.
Oh, yes.
And it was around, values and stuff of the cars.
Yes.
They actually dropped a heap of value out of them.
Have they? I guess because there's more players in the market now too.
Yep.
There's a little bit more competition. Where it's not that I follow the electric car market, but certainly they've been really the only major player.
Yes, they have. Yeah, from early stage to probably to, like you're saying, like around now there is so much additional out in the market. Everyone's jumping on board.
Well, I think too, as different technology comes around too. I mean, I know that the Teslas are somewhat pretty techy in the features that they have, but there's other electric cars out there that I believe are even more. I followed one in the traffic. I think it was a BYD. I think was the badge on the back, and I hadn't seen one before. And then 2 minutes later, a different one, same car but different colour. I thought I actually quite like that. Not saying I'm going to rush out and buy one, personal preference, but it wasn't a bad looking car. And I mentioned it to one of the guys at work, and straight away he said, "Oh yeah, they're like super. They've got so much technology in them and all this sort of stuff." So yeah, certainly building to different features. And I mean, as we see technology improve, we'll get more mileage out of the chargers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No doubt it's coming. It's just a matter of if and when.
Yeah. And that was in the early stages what slowed a lot of people down with Tesla, because they didn't have a huge range. And like anything, the more you put a foot into it, the less your range you have to deal with. So
is that where I'm going wrong with my petrol usage?
It is.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. You tell me that now.
And you're just missing some cylinders.
Yeah.
Like another 4.
Yeah. Now.
Both these guys, not a real lot between them at the 60-foot mark.
Nothing at 1,000 foot too, just quietly. Only 600s across the finish line. 14.56, 95 mile an hour for the Falcon in the Aeroflow lane.
And 14.9, 93 miles an hour for the Rocket lane.
.096 on the tree for the Falcon. Nice light. Out in front at the moment. I don't know if the Subaru is going to catch it.
I'll tell you what, if he does, he'll be on the line.
Just hung onto it by a tenth of a second across the finish line. 14.82 with the 0. 91 miles an hour for the Falcon.
And 14.3, 101 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Big burnout from the VN in the Aeroflow lane there.
I'm pretty sure it's the one I walked past, and it's had a fairly substantial...
Well, Steve and Mark, I am down in the staging lanes, and the man that I've wanted to do an interview with. How are you, mate?
Good, Stuart. How are you, mate?
Mate, it's great to see you back. First things first, mate. It took a little while to get the fuel tech on board, but you've got it on.
Yep.
First impressions?
Actually, not too bad. Look, tonight's just about finding out, like, you know, what the map's doing and things like that. Figuring out what the bike's like now with this new. There's a new fuel system on it too. But the 60 foot was where it needed to be, so we'll not short shift this time and see what happens.
Yeah, it just looked. I mean, I was what. There was just that little hint of tyre slip out of it. But overall, it didn't look that much different to what it did in the past. But I suppose, as you said, it's so much more tuning you've got to do to the bike now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, tonight we're still running an NA setup. I haven't done a map for the nitrous, so I'm not expecting it to go any quicker than what it did. But then, yeah, once we get the bottle on, I'm hoping that we'll get the Sydney Dragway CC mod track record. So,
I was going to say, do you think you're capable of getting the C mod bike record? No?
No, if you look at the track record for a C, that was back when they were like 750 Pro stock motors, and I think the track record's an 8, like a low 8 for C. However, the CC, which is the power-added class, is a 923, so that's the one I'm chasing.
Well, mate, it'd be awesome to see you get it, not just because you are one of our officials, but also, mate, you know, you're right from here in Sydney Dragway. You're a great supporter of the drag strip. And, mate, most importantly, how good is it to see a whole heap of bikes here tonight? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, mate, it's absolutely fantastic after the insurance drama that we had last year and all of that kind of stuff. The bikes have come back out very strong and great to see. Sydney Random Riders do a great job of promoting and bringing a good group each time. I know some of the Powerhouse Cycles, they're Dark Side as well, they do it as well. So it's great. Yeah, love to see more bikes. The more the merrier.
Absolutely, and hopefully we get some workshops a little bit more involved in this side of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one big Harley one. Those guys with I think it's the Dark Side motorcycles. They're fantastic. We need to get some more tuning shops that are willing to start making drag bikes or getting behind some of the drag bike riders and seeing what they can do with their bike. Yeah.
Well, mate, we've got people watching from all around the world. You guys are the show, very much the showcase tonight. So good luck to all the races.
Thanks, Stewie. Yeah, we'll have a good night.
Thank you, Michael. Now, just quickly too, of course, Steve, there was a gentleman that's here tonight who, you know, I've got a huge following for. He's not really into the Jap scene. He's more into the Harleys. I call him affectionately Mr. Cool because he is cool, literally cool. Joe Curry, what's happening, brother?
Hey, mate, how you going, all right?
Mate, behaving, but, mate, how good is it tonight? Whole heap of bikes, or any bike that anybody's into is here tonight.
That's right, I'm kind of spewing. I kind of wanted to bring the bike out as well and show some of these people up, but unfortunately it's just not quite ready yet, and we'll just watch Cheryl run and see how she goes on her street bike.
Now, you mentioned to me earlier this bike's had a bit of work done to it. Tell me, is it stock or is it been bought out?
It's a 2007 V-Rod, which has a small motor in it, which is 1130cc, but we've put a bigger set of pistons in it and some cams, and the fact that Cheryl's 45 kilos lighter than the average guy makes it hop along nice in the mid to low 11s, but she does well on it, and it's a nice looking bike and gets a lot of attention, and it's got nice colours, and she makes it look good as well. So,
well, Joe, you've been, I mean, for those people who don't know, Joe races in modified bike, also runs in the performance classes as well on the Harley-Davidson Destroyer. Tell me, mate, obviously a big difference between riding a Destroyer and something like this. For someone like yourself who's been racing for a long, long time, and particularly the Shell, who's a relatively new rider for drag racing, how do you coach somebody to get the bike off the line safely, but more importantly, try and get those times down?
Yeah, you're right, mate. Look, I envy any person coming out and riding a bike and racing, but it's the ones that don't listen are the ones that get themselves hurt. They've got all these expectations where they think they're going to run these big numbers. You can have all the horsepower in the world, but if you can't put it to the ground, you can't shift right, and you can't do everything right, you're never going to get to the other end. And that's the good thing about Cheryl. She's bought my old Destroyer. It's hers now. It was a championship-winning bike, and she just basically listens. She applies, she adapts, and she goes out and does it with ease. And that's why her transition from the street bike to the Destroyer was so easy. She's running 8s now all the time, and she just does it so flawlessly. So for any female that wants to come out and start racing, honestly, you can ride anything. Just got to listen to the people that know and have done it all before.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, it is fantastic to have you here tonight, mate, and it's always a pleasure catching up with you, as it is with all our motorcycle riders. I'll send it back upstairs to Stephen Mark. You hear Aeroflow Race for Real, the rocket down in the staging lanes.
Thank you very much, Stu. And Joe is 100% right there in coaching people what to do and how to do it. It's so much easier to listen to those that have been there before. Yes, put your own style on it if you want to try something different or whatnot. But if you can pick the basics up first off somebody who's been there, done that, that's always a very good starting point.
Yeah, 100%. And you're going to get results
quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not in saying that it's not actually in. You'll get a quicker time, but you'll also get a more consistent result.
Yes. And and it'll stay together.
Yes.
I know we sort of got a little bit more serious from the Tirana, going from the 11-second motors, to the last motor we had in it. We started talking to all the right people.
Yeah.
And you're spending your money wisely then. Of stuff that people's tried and tested, and they can tell you what it works, where it works, and how it works. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and probably more importantly too, knows the limitations of a combination, or so it doesn't mean that that's the be all and end all limitation. If they say, this will get you, 600 horsepower, and you manage to get 610 or 615, great, but don't expect 900 out of it. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's probably the decision you need to make straight from the start. Okay, where do I want to be? Do I want to be 12 seconds?
Yep.
14 seconds, or do I want to be 9 seconds? Or
because it's not possible to, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking a car or a motorcycle here.
Yes.
If you're changing the goalpost, and yes, let's face it, it is drag racing.
Yep.
The goalpost is continually moving in front of us. The combination that ran 12.0 is not going to run 10.0. Not without major reworking or a completely new combination.
Yeah, exactly. And it, the lower you go, the more stronger all your bottom end and the quality stuff you're going to put into it will be. So there's nothing worse than going, I'm going to run a 12, it'd be right. And then you run a 12, go, I want to run a 9, and then you've got to re-spend all that money again.
Yes.
It's just sort of having a little bit of foresight.
Well, I guess that, the beauty of, you can always sell off your parts if you haven't destroyed them and put that towards the new build. But then obviously there's a bit of downtime while you recoup or change your other stuff that's...
Well, Mark and Steve, I'm just down in the staging lanes, and Hypo 4G from Mixed Motorsport has just turned up. How you going, brother?
Good, brother. How are you?
So, hey, mate. Mate, coming out for a bit of fun tonight?
Yeah. Just a bit of fun, bit of testing. See how we go.
It's a wild piece of kit, mate.
Thank you.
It looks awesome. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Great to see the guys from Mixed Motorsport back out here at Aeroflow Race for Real, because they've been a big part of the import for a long, long time. Now, Stephen, I've got to have a chat with Sammy Joe, because Sammy Joe cannot wipe the smile off her face. What's going on, mate?
Oh, not much. How you been?
Mate, I'm good. Mate, you just... did you just do what I think you did?
Yeah, we finally cracked an 11 in the Red Beast, which is pretty exciting. Obviously, it's been a long 7 weeks. Turbo 400, trans brake, 2-step, and hopefully we can run a low 11.
Oh, mate, if you run at a low 11, there's going to be a big party here tonight. I tell you, it's so good to see you smiling, Sammy, because obviously I know you and Brian, you guys are out here just about every event. You love your drag racing. Flo's stepped it up with this car, and I don't know how much more you want to do to it, but I'll tell you what, even just running low 11s, it's still a quick car.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. That was 11.5 first run with the Turbo 400, so obviously the plan is next year is to hopefully chuck a supercharger on top and hopefully run low 10s.
Right, you heard it here first, Mark and Steve. You heard it straight from Sammy's mouth. She wants to put a supercharger on.
Hey, Stu, just ask her what converter, what's the stall in the converter for the car?
Yeah, well, Sammy, what converter are you running on the?
Yes, it's got a TCE $4,000 high stall.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's still streetable if
Yes,
you choose to still drive it on the road. But there's obviously a big change to Sammy's procedure of stepping away from the clutch and then having the automatic. So she was very good on the lights with the clutch. So I can't wait to see what happens once she gets dialed in with the converter and the trans brake.
Yeah. It's nice having a really, especially TCI, they're great converters. They've done always my converters. The one I've got in the Utes, a 5.5 converter.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely perfect for the motor.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you said before, talking to the right people, and that's the beauty of it, not just going, I think this one will work. That you've probably looked at cam cars, dyno sheets, etc., and then gone, okay, this is what we need to do, because there's a lot more in a converter than what you think there is. It's not just something that rotates with fluid in it.
No.
There's so many variables in how it applies the lockup and how much slip you end up with, and etc., etc.
Yeah, it starts from, like, what do you want to use it for?
Yes.
Give them that, then it goes, tyre sizes,
Yep.
all your engine specs all the way through. Cam is one of the major ones to, of where you want that in, and, like, and how tight or how loose you want your converter. And so, yeah, you're right, a lot goes into it. Wow. That's trying hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the second 005 red we've seen here tonight, Mark. It's David Batisevic in the Ford Cortina, little 347 Windsor-powered machine, 11.03, 126 miles an hour.
And 13.0 at 115 miles an hour.
Dare say David out here doing some testing for this weekend, of course, normally running in Super Street.
Yep.
In the Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship Series.
That is such a great bracket to run in, and a real competitive one. Well, Commodore versus Commodore.
Just a birthday shout out to Jason Rigoni. I hope you're having a fantastic evening and enjoying the action here from Sydney Dragway. So from all of us staff here at Sydney Dragway, happy birthday to you, Jason.
Wow.
As we listen to Steve McAuliffe doing a big burnout in his Holden utility.
Sort of took a fair bit to get that thing up on boost, but...
yeah, the result was pretty good though.
Yeah, it was indeed.
1.7 to the 60. And out of the throttle just past half track. He's doing 127 mile an hour at half track. Rolls out of it to a 10.15 at 105.
Wow. So there, plenty there in that one.
Yes, I think it's just a matter of getting it to leave the start line when it's supposed to and come up on boosters.
Yep.
Of course, very much easier said than done. Strong burnout from the VK in the Aeroflow lane, taking Dominic Peroni in the rocket lane.
There's a lot of stuff hanging out the bonnet of that car.
In the VK.
One looks like a big turbo.
All right.
And the other one looks like the part of the intake.
Because you can't fit it under the bonnet.
Well, mate, if it won't go under, you just put it on top.
Drop it out and let it go peekaboo.
Yeah, exactly.
.201 to the 60. And runs on through for a 1080.
Wow.
For the VK, 139 mile an hour though, so I think a fair bit left in that. A 2.0 60 foot's pretty slow to a 174 60 foot for Prioni, went through at 144 mile an hour.
So yeah, get that off the line.
Yep.
And it's in the nines. Well, it's a quick purge of the nitrous, not real big, just give it a little squirt. See some cars come up on the line and just they're virtually hosing down the place.
Yep. .025 on the tree for Joe. Ernest sticking with him at half track, just starts to flash out under the car at around about 900 feet, I think it was. 8.55 with the 6, 159 mile an hour through the finish line.
And 8.9, 154 for Joe, which is a really good pass. Haven't seen that out of that car for a while, but yeah, that whatever Ernest just done previously was going in the right direction, because that that was running really clean 3/4 track.
Yeah, he got to that point, didn't it? And then just and still managed a reasonably good time, 8.55.
Yep.
I don't know what he's aiming for with the car or where he expects it to be, but
we did build all that new running gear in it.
Yes.
And so I dare say he's probably getting to where he wants to be.
I'm wondering, you mentioned they're purging. I'm wondering if it might be a slight deviation with the bottle pressure or something like that too. But I don't know anything. You know, I don't know anything about nitrous other than it's a chemical that's fed in via a solenoid into the fuel system.
Yeah.
You know, and it depends on how much you choose to put into the engine to how much horsepower you want to, extra horsepower you want to make.
So you got to have your own, a separate fuel system set up for it, because you put more nitrous in, you got to put a lot more fuel to keep it nice and away from the lean side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does produce horsepower.
Yeah, and I've heard it does give mains and big ends a bit of a hard time, I guess you could say. It's probably the biggest thing. Well, one of the things that I've learned from watching the Street Outlaws on TV.
Yep.
The guys that compete with those, when you're talking 4, 5, 6 kits of nitrous, like the plumbing on these engines is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they're adding 500, 600 horsepower, if not more, basically on the hit of a button.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does. Like it's you have your normal engine, explodes, pushes piston down and everything. Well, you think with that much nitrous and everything in there, it is smashing that down. So it is very, very hard on engines, and that's why a lot of guys went away from nitrous. That just having to rebuild so often.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on your racing schedule. Like and especially in the US, some of those races have the opportunity, and potentially could be racing more than once a week.
Yes.
where sort of here in Sydney, like I know we've got our race for real every Wednesday night, but predominantly for street cars, they don't need the maintenance that are you know a 2,000-ish horsepower nitrous car needs to keep it together. You know, so obviously there is a wear and tear factor in that, and a time factor where you need to be able to pull the motor out or have a spare that you can rotate. But even doing that's not a 2-minute thing to swap around, especially after work, coming home and going, oh, I've got to, not again. And then eventually, that's why we saw a big push to the turbos and Pro charging seems to be very, very popular in the street outlaw scene in the US. Not so much here though. There are a few guys that run it, but certainly not to the same extent.
Well, Joe's had a real successful run with it.
And nice pass there for the rider in the Aeroflow lane. 989 with a 149 mile an hour. 087 on the tree.
Tell you what, boys, this is going to be one of the most impressive looking Harleys I've seen for a long time. The paint job on this bike is unbelievable. It's got gold fleck to it. It is just so clean. It is so tidy. Absolute credit to the owner.
Well, 10.7, 135 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Yeah, 12.04 at 113 for the Aeroflow lane there. Reaction times for both riders are fairly close there, but the Rocket Lane is going to ride away with 11.64 with a 116 mile an hour through the finish line to a 12.65 at 102 for the Aeroflow lane. Harleys on track now. Ooh, 068 light for the Rocket Lane. The Aeroflow lane chasing down though. Don't think it's going to get there. No, 11.15 with a 0.118 through the finish line.
And 11.1, 122 for the Aeroflow lane. Definitely the reaction time didn't help him at all with that one.
.74 with an 146 miles an hour for the rider in the Rocket lane.
And 12.3, 124 for the Aeroflow lane.
A bit of a wobble on the line there for Cheryl on the V-Rod. Nice clean pass outside of that on the launch. 11.42 with a 120 mile an hour through the finish line.
And 13.8, 98 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
You can hear your two-stroke on the track mics, Mark.
You can indeed.
But the rider in the Aeroflow lane having some issues on the hit of the throttle, but a 1070 at 149 for the Rocket lane there. And the Aeroflow lane finished up with a 13.11, 99 mile an hour.
Bit of two-stroke magic.
.170 to the 60 for Michael Riches in the Aeroflow lane. Let's see what he can produce on this run. And a 1039 with a 0, 133 mile an hour.
And 12.4, 108 miles an hour.
Still a little ways away from where Michael wants to be tonight.
We've got Brett copping down here, boys, on the little Suzuki. I tell you what, doing the burnout with style there, just hanging it out a little bit. I just had a chat to him in the lanes, actually, boys, and the race bike is slowly coming along. So I'm hoping within the next, hopefully 6 months, Steve and Mark will see that bike out here testing very, very soon at Sydney Dragway.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Steve. Like seeing what's coming out of this bike. I can't wait for the race bike.
Well, I mean, Brett's had a high pusher before as well, so a very good rider is Brett, as is Jesse Barnes in the Rocket lane. Good side-by-side race. Barnes will take it though, 985 with a 0, gets there by 5/10 at 143 mile an hour, but the two-stroke there, 1055 mark.
Absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? I bet you when they was making those bikes, they didn't think they'd be able to get that much power out of it.
No, and I guess you know, the two-stroke's not something that's probably used that much in road bikes nowadays, is it really? Like they're more a trail bike sort of thing, but I'm sure that the modern technology is still applicable to the older style stuff.
Well, they were just one of the quickest bikes when they were produced, and they just held that title for so long.
I'll tell you what we might do here at Sydney Dragway. We'll go up to our big screen for a couple of words from some of our partners here, and Mark and I will be back with you very, very shortly. Here at Sydney Dragway, a race for real.
Not slow. Not difficult. Not just ticking boxes. Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
Aeroflow Performance provides a wide range of high-quality performance products for races, street machines and hot rodders. Aeroflow Performance provides a wide range of high-quality performance products for races, street machines and hot rodders. Fittings, fuel system components, intake solutions and even turbocharger systems. You can see it all at aeroflowperformance.com.
I've chosen to use VP Racing Fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP Racing Fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP Racing Fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance pros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels. He's out there.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win a USA Supercars Drive experience at the Circuit of the Americas and Las Vegas racetracks. Drive a Ferrari, Lamborghini and Porsche. Visit Dallas, Austin, Las Vegas and LA. The trip for two includes airfares, luxury accommodation and $10,000 spending money for eligible Shannon's Club members. Plus, win a new Indian Motorcycle Sport Chief. To enter, take out new Shannon's insurance on your special car, daily drive, bike or home. Go online or call Shannon's on 13 46 46.
Bikereview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. Bikereview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. Bikereview.com.au. Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to Para News. Para News is Parramatta and the Cumberland area's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment, puzzles and so much more. Para News really is the heartbeat of Parramatta and Cumberland, and it's out every Tuesday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area or check out paranews.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
Whether you're building a street machine or a race car, Aeroflow Performance has a solution for you. Our ever-increasing range features boosted turbocharger systems, Bosch Motorsport products, X-Pro electrical systems, hoses and fittings, bang shift shifters, differential parts and fabrication components. You can see it all at aeroflowperformance.com.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science in play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's all... This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface. Turning the torque arm on the top of the device will rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's Home and Contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Well, nice to see a little bit earlier. See another GR Corolla come out. Good to see it up against the Toyota Caldina. Of course, the imports. Two cars that you don't see a lot of on the road. It's great to see the Corolla out here. We know what the platform can do with the GR Yaris. Obviously, it's the same motor, same running gear, but obviously the Corolla just a little bit heavier. And I don't think it'll be too long before we do see a GR Corolla come out and be fully worked up. But we've got the F6 Typhoon down here now up against the Mitsubishi Lancer.
All right, guys, we are back with Aeroflow Race for Real. A couple of Subarus going down the track.
Now I'm gonna ask you two a question, and this goes for everybody that is here at the facility and also watching via YouTube. Who was driving behind me in Waitara the other day and flashing their lights and beeping their horn at me? Someone obviously knew it was me. I wasn't sure it was either yourself, Steve, or Mark. Someone driving through Waitara.
Wasn't a police car, was it?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I actually thought I'd done something wrong on the road, but I was cruising with one hand and had tunes on, but you know, I just happened to hear someone beeping and then flashing the lights at me, so I thought it was obviously someone that comes here to Aeroflow Race for Real or Sydney Dragway and obviously knows my car, and I thought, well, if there's two people that do know my car, it's definitely you two upstairs.
Well, yeah, it wasn't me, Stu. I'm innocent.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, I mean, I couldn't see anybody waving, so, you know, but it was weird, really weird. But I tell you what, we've got a great bunch of cars here tonight, boys. Hyundai i30N and Shaya is the number plates. So it looks like we may have good to see a lady behind the wheel having a steer, taking on the EL Falcon. It's great tonight. We've got plenty of bikes. We've got few imports. We've got a very tough F6 Typhoon about to come out too, boys, very soon.
Well, Stu, you got a couple of replies on the internet. One's the Popo. We're following you.
It's funny you mention that, actually, because I actually did think it was a policeman. I was thinking, well, why are they pulling me over? I drive a Mazda 2 for a start, and I wasn't speeding, so I thought, well, it's either someone that knows me from around the area who was just trying to freak me out, which they did a very good job of it, mind you. Yeah, or...
Do you want to know what the second one is? I can read it out.
Amuse me.
It probably was. It was a bloke that thought you were an unlicensed kid driving their parents' car.
Well, to be fair, from what Ben's told me, you can't actually see my head above the seat. So, you know, maybe they thought it was a driverless car. I don't know. But either way, it freaked the hell out of me. So, yeah. Please, if that was any of you guys here tonight, please don't do that again. I'll tell you what, guys, are great tonight. Got a few Subarus here tonight, which is great to see as well. I've got a first-timer asking me to come over. So, just give me 2 seconds. What's happening, mate?
I'm racing my son.
You're racing your son? Well, you better beat him.
I hope so.
All right.
Won't hear the end of it if he doesn't.
That's it. Well, you know, what a perfect way to race your son, Mark. You've got the Holden V8, all six, up against the import. I
Yep.
mean, what better way of father versus son?
It's a great night out, isn't it?
And his dad's a first timer, which is even better. The son's obviously raced here before. What a great looking car the Subaru is too. Looks fantastic. Well, the father has smoked him. I wonder if there's a side bet.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? What?
Well, boys, we got this very tough Falcon out of the Precision Racing stable. Back out again tonight. It's totally got rid of the right-hand front headlight on it, so he means business tonight.
Good bit of airflow then. And he's up against the VN Commodore. Well, 11.9, 135 miles an hour to a 16.4, 82 miles an hour.
That was a bit weird, Stephen Mark, when it got out just before 60 foot. It's almost like it just was almost ready to change gear, then just kind of dimmed a little bit and then it got back into it. So I don't know whether they've played around with something. I can see our IHI official Will out there. So maybe just that little bit of fluid that's picking up has just gotten underneath those rear tyres and it's just hampered it slightly. But yeah, I was expecting a bit of a quicker 60 foot out of that car.
Yeah, it's actually on the track mics from up here. It sounded like it started to break traction, then he was just pedalling a bit till it caught on and then just fed it into it.
Oh, we've got another VP, VNVP out here, HSV, Mark. This thing is very nice.
It is in an absolutely mint condition. I had a look as I walked past. It's got the HSV badges on the side of it as well, so. $12.9, 101 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. And 16.5, 85 miles an hour.
A very tough sounding Bellina down here in the Rocket Lane, taking on the BMW 2 Series convertible. That's a good idea, isn't it, Mark? Drive around the weekend with the top down, come out here, race on a Wednesday night with the top up.
Yep.
Got the best of both worlds, don't you? Hey guys, don't forget, if you're here at the track and you're a little bit hungry, we got the Gossamer van up the top. Of course, Denise and Mel's famous donuts are up the top as well. And the Top Fuel Cafe is open down in the pits. So, feeling a bit peckish, guys, make sure you do duck up and grab yourself something to eat. Brian out now, boys, in his very consistent Holden Commodore.
Well, gets off the line, 0.086. Goes through 12.2, 112 miles an hour to another 12.2 at 111 miles an hour. So great side-by-side finish.
Yeah, I think those two cars kept the same distance the whole way down the racetrack. Yep. The difference in reaction time was the only thing that changed the margin at the top end of the racetrack. So two very different approaches on the start line right now. We've got the Evo Lancer in the Aeroflow lane. taking on the Challenger, I think it is, in the Rocket.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even going to take a wild guess at it.
I went there.
Oh.
And both
Well,
cars
boys-
having some issues there, Stu. Yes, mate?
I was going to say, Steve, that car down there, it's got Duster written on the back of it. So
Oh, there you go.
Plymouth Duster?
Plymouth Duster, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Steve, that's actually the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Obviously, I've seen the race car version, but I've never, ever, ever seen one of those in the flesh. That's really nice.
Yeah, it certainly looked pretty tough from up here. It just had some issues from about half track on there, though. How nice is this HZ Holden rolling up towards the Rocket Lane start line mark?
Yeah, definitely sounds nice and crisp in the burnout. Up against the 6-litre VE Commodore. As Stu was talking to him earlier, they've just put a turbo 400 in it. 2-step ignition, so it's got the right gear now. Get it off the line. And there's 165 60 foot. So it's leaving pretty good.
Actually, those two cars are very, very close in performance as well. At 11.52 with the 5 to an 11.55 with the 5. Only a mile an hour or two difference as well.
Well, guys, we've got Ian down here in the High Comp prepared Commodore. He's been messaging me the last couple of days. He was pumped to come out tonight, and he's already run a PB on his previous pass. So we'll see if he can go a little bit quicker. But he's taking on this very quick XR8 FGX Falcon.
Falcon just in front at half track. I dare say will probably stretch from there. 12.32 with a 3, 112 mile an hour through the finish line to a 12.88 with an 8 at 110 for the Commodore.
Well, Cortina back out again. Super consistent, this car. Been around for a long time.
It has. It's a very well sorted car, though.
Up against the VF Commodore. Yeah, it's lost all its Cortina.
It doesn't have that characteristic, does it, where it wants to drag the door handle down the racetrack. It leaves nice and flat and does everything it should. 1070, 127 mile an hour there.
And 115 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Well, Mark and Steve, we've got Fly 308 down on track now. Now, this one has got a headlight removed as well, which kind of tells me it might have a little turbo underneath the bonnet of that car.
Nice pass out of the Rocket Lane, 11.60 with a 7, 119 miles an hour to a 13.95 with a 5 in the Aeroflow lane.
Now, Mark and Steve, I saw this car sitting down in the pits. This VT Commodore was 250. It's got big set of radials on it.
It sounds like it's got a turbo under the bonnet as well, just quietly in the burnout chute. Definitely sounded like there was some forced induction going on there.
Yeah, definitely turboed. A 19.3, 39 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. $17.7, 58 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Well, Mark, we've got a first-timer out here in the Holden Grange. This thing would be an awesome weekend cruiser. Dumped. Nice big gold wheels on the silver paint job. Looks great. Tell you what, that'd be like driving around in luxury, like a leather lounge chair. And it's great to see him bring the car out. As is equally as beautiful is this 92 VP Commodore in the rocket lane.
Well, 13.5 at 108 miles an hour. 13.6, 105 miles an hour. Another nice strong burnout from the Ute. I'll tell you what, Stewie, this Ute has got some good times. I reckon when he gets this thing totally hooked up, we're going to see a really good pass out of it.
Yeah, I think we're going to see something pretty special out of that car once it does everything that it should.
Yeah. It just left the line then, just up in smoke, just torch those back tyres.
Well, I think the boost management is going to be the key on the racetrack tonight. Of course, it's not a full race prep. It's not a we prepared the track to effectively a street car level because that's what we're here for. And Stephen, no stranger to fast cars. I'm sure that he'll get that thing sorted, and we'll see some very respectable times out of it.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Sorbello into the 880s tonight. 885 with a 4, 155.
Yeah, he's back down to 13360 foot. So, yeah, that car's doing everything right. 10-3, 133 for the rocket lane also. We've got the V8 Commodore wagon. And the VF Commodore right beside it.
Yeah, Dominic Prioni in the rocket lane here. This car running 144 mile an hour, I think it was on the last pass.
Yes.
Wagon straight over to the centre line, very loose there, Mark. Oh, don't like it when that happens because you just don't know if it's going to not hook up when you create the steering wheel movement. And Dominic just getting out of the throttle as well and rolling on through. The wagon still at 12.44 at only 68 mile an hour.
It just, when that happens, it just so unsettles the car.
Yes.
That was just so much on the edge. I'll tell you what, you just got to sneeze and that thing would have gone.
Yes, well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? And once it does go...
Yep, you're a passenger.
You're a passenger because you're moving pretty quick, even though it just left the start line. It didn't seem to move around until probably 200 feet or thereabouts, yep. and by that point, it's already carrying a fair bit of momentum.
Exactly, and Dominic seen what was happening.
Yeah, he's like,
and
well,
just,
I'm going to let that happen over there.
yeah.
Give you all the room you need.
Yeah, he's going to sit back and watch. So, yeah, definitely probably should have got out of that a lot earlier than he did. But
didn't get on the brakes, though.
No.
I didn't see the brake lights come on.
Well, boys, we did mention that this weekend on Saturday we do have the New South Wales State Championship Series make its return after a little bit of a break. And one man who is no stranger to Sydney Dragway, both as an official and as a racer, Sean Dartnell. How are you, Sean?
Yeah, good, Stu. Yeah, mate.
Mate, fantastic. Mate, you told me earlier you put an exhaust on the Hyundai. Getting in some practice for this weekend. It's a tight field.
Yeah, it is. It's always a tough competition in Street Fighter. And generally, at the end of the day, it always comes down to who has the best reaction time on the day who takes out the final. So, yeah, that's what I'm after tonight, just chasing lights, trying to cut good lights.
Now, have you noticed any difference in the car with this exhaust on it, or there's very minimal difference?
Very minimal. Probably see a bit more improvement on the weekend because the track prep will be a bit different, so the car generally runs quicker when there's a good track prep.
Well, mate, it's great to see you out here tonight, and good luck for this weekend.
Yeah, cheers, mate. We'll be trying to make another final.
I'm sure you will, mate. He's always tough to beat in competition. Well, we've got a bunch of cars stretching their way around the corner. We've got another Volkswagen here with a Galano sticker on it, and, oh, man, full race seat, no rear seat. So it's not too much of a street car, is it? Or is it you're aiming more race?
No, this is how I drive it on the road.
You're driving on the road like this?
Yeah, well, minus the race seat.
No, I get that. Tell me what's been done with the car?
It's Galano tuned with a PowerMax 1 Garrett. Ran 11.1 a couple of weeks ago. We're just trying to crack into the 10s tonight.
Wow. So tell me, man, obviously we see a lot of the Volkswagens out here. We've seen a lot of the Galano-based cars here. What does it take to get these things down in the 10? I mean, I know there's a fair bit of engine work, but from a tuning point of view, I mean, how much does the track temp and temperature affect these Volkswagens?
It's just the size of the turbo that's bolted on it. They'll run low 10s with a big enough turbo pretty easily.
Fair enough. Well, mate, it is great to see you guys out here, and we really look forward to seeing you out here. I know you guys come out now and again, but I never get a chance to be able to come up and have a chat with you because I'm always busy and you guys are busy. But tell you what, mate, Galano, they're making waves here in Sydney, aren't they?
Mate, only the best.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'll tell you what, boys, the Volkswagen scene here in Sydney, I reckon it's got to be the best around the country, mate. I'm telling you. The quality of Volkswagens we've got here in Sydney, but also the amount of quick ones that we've got here. It's just awesome.
Well, I think, Stu, the thing is with these sorts of things is competition breeds competition, doesn't it? You know, like you see, you know, if you're in a car club or you're in a group of friends and you've got a car, you know, you've got a common interest that might be a little bit motorsport orientated, and one of your mates goes out and runs a 12, and I can do better than that. He goes out and you know, similar tune, goes 11.9, and then you start pushing one another. But you know, as the gentleman just said there, you know, there are so many restrictions in these modern cars in the way that they're built from factory. You know, it doesn't take, and I'm not taking anything away from the tuning shops and the people that modify modern cars, but the cars that are held back from the factory that to achieve really good results, you know, seemingly is fairly straightforward. It's just a matter of coming up with that combination that, you know, because a lot of people still use the car as their daily to actually keep it as a streetable car.
I think that's the good part about the V-dubs and everything.
Yes.
That you can make them still streetable, but super performance as well, because you're not having to break the motor open.
No.
It's all just bolt on and tune. And, you know, so, yeah, and now, like, I hope this guy runs his 10s today.
Yeah.
Sensational.
By the sound of it, it's still a tenth of a second's a fair bit to drop, but you know, depending what they've done in the workshop between last time and now, you know, a tenth of a second might be, you know, a couple more pound of boost or a little bit more RPM here on the shift, or, you know, I don't know, depending, you know, what they're able to find at 993 with a 4 for that bike in the Rocket Lane, 147 mile an hour. Nice pass. But yes, I think, you know, that's the performance levels that we're hearing out of, you know, Barra Turbo 6s and that sort of thing. Like, it's not hard, according to the drivers, they even say it, to make 1,000 horsepower now. Like, you know, that number is almost almost, you can nearly say, it's a throwaway number now. You know, like, we have so many races that come here and go, oh, it's making 800 at the tyres. Well, you know, that's 1,000 at the flywheel.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you go back 15 years or whatever, you had an 11-second car. That was massive.
Yes.
It was one of those numbers that not a lot of people were achieving out of their cars, but now you can virtually you can buy a car that will do that from the factory.
Yes. With all the take all the safe modes off it, and off you go. Not a bad race there. 11.40 in the Aeroflow lane to take the win. Oh, a lot of wheel spin for the rider in the Aeroflow lane. Did well to keep it in a straight line, I think. Could see a slight haze of smoke off that tyre on the hit, and 11.76 with a 6 at 117 mile an hour, and a 12.33 I think it was in the rocket lane. Yeah, there you go, Mark. One of our listeners, regular listeners on the live stream, my RX2. Kalano Engineering ran a 9.6 with a stock unopened motor, which was a Golf World record. Then ran an 880 with a built motor. Wow. I think the 880 we saw here at Sydney Dragway, I want to say 4 months ago, 5 months ago, something like that.
Yep.
And it was a built engine, but still using the VW ECU and that sort of thing, but they were able to manipulate the data in that to use that that factory computer. So definitely, that workshop's doing the right things in the right places.
Yep, absolutely.
And 11.08 with a 2, 122 mile an hour to a 12.06 at 108 in the rocket.
Great to see a big roll-up of bikes tonight.
Yes, as always. I mean, it's been a little cool of late, but hasn't deterred our bike riders.
No, not at all.
I suppose once the adrenaline starts flowing, it's all good. You don't worry about those things. 12.34 with an 8, 121 mile an hour in the Aeroflow lane to an 11.50 in the rocket.
Well, 11.6, 125 for the rocket lane and 13.2, 98 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
All right, Jesse Barnes on his Suzuki GSX 1300 from Chipping Norton in the Aeroflow lane, taking on our rocket lane racer. Those red flashing lights going on there.
Yeah, not sure.
Mark?
Yasada just sort of held these guys back.
I can't see anybody.
Shall we?
Might
have a kangaroo. Oh,
no, 1,000 foot. There's somebody on the racetrack.
Yep.
Just checking your time and timing block, perhaps. course, if you're here at Aeroflow Race for Real and would like to give the Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship rounds a crack, entries are closed for this weekend's event, but certainly keep your eyes out for the next one happening here at Sydney Dragway, and you can come out and race in, if you're on a motorcycle, street bike, or if you're in a car. Street Fighter would be predominantly the class for you. Unless your car's a little bit quicker, you can step into Super Street and get the full experience of what drag racing is about.
Yep.
Jesse Barnes was raced in street bike a number of seasons ago and recently stepped onto this machine a little bit quicker. 9.73 with a 3 there. So a good pass for Jesse. He'd be pretty happy with that, I'd imagine. But no, he started out with a little 300cc Yamaha, I think it was.
Yep.
And took out the championship in street bike in it. So that just goes to show that it's not always about horsepower to win races. So, you know, at this weekend's event, once you get into eliminations, the nice pass there for Michael Riches at 10.09. So he picked up 3/10 there over his previous pass. I think he'd be pretty happy with that. So in eliminations, your racing is handicapped. So the slower bike or car will leave the start line first. The quicker car or bike will then chase you down.
Yep.
And then the theory being is that you're neck and neck at the finish line. But of course, then your reaction times have a little bit more importance, other than winning potentially a cash prize. You don't get that at the Speed Addict Clothing Co. But what you get is the win line generally if your reaction time's better. Yeah. So the whole consistency thing that Mark and I bang on about every week becomes more relevant when you race with the full experience of drag racing, I guess is the way to say it. So you need to pick, you need to do 3 runs somewhat consistent in qualifying. You then pick your dial in. So if Mark's running a 10-second car and I'm running a 15-second car, I would leave the start line 5 seconds before he does. And he would chase me down and probably fly past me at 50 mile an hour more than what I'd be doing. But it doesn't mean that I'm not able to beat him. If I cut a better ride or I'm closer to the handicap that I pick, it means that then chances are that I will get the win line.
Yep, it's really good racing.
Yes.
And having a good, strong nerve too, if you're the chaser,
yes,
is another thing too. Because you do find that some of the racers do get a little bit too excited at a red light.
Yeah. I had, as you know, my other car, little Mark 1 Cortino, ran that a few times at Nostalgia Drags.
Yep.
And I think I won a few races that way because there was a big red light, because I was already, I was gone.
Yep.
And some of the cars I was running were like, 11s and 12s, so I was nearly half track before they were let go. Didn't always work for me, but yes, there was, I'm sure, 1 or 2 races won in that fashion. But it also tests your ability as a driver to do everything consistent, shift gears, leave the start line at the same RPM every time. Because I mean, let's face it, not every car has 2 steps and trans brakes and all that sort of stuff that help you get consistency by eliminating a human element effectively. But having those components does bring around another set of challenges too, to learn how to use them to their full extent.
Yes, it does indeed. Yeah. I must say, I've never had a trans brake, 2-step or none of that. Everything was done off the foot brake.
Yeah, okay.
And yep, once you get the hang of it, you can be very consistent.
Yeah, I think as you say, it's all about getting a hang of it and doing the same thing.
Yep.
On repeat, and then eventually you'll get consistency. But then human nature, I want to go quicker now. Yeah. so then you re-step, you go back a few steps for a little while, re-establish that consistency, and then rebuild the pattern from there. strong burnout from the car in the rocket lane here, Mark.
Yep, this VF Commodore. Yeah, me and Galvo, when we first started putting the Trana together, was we wanted to see how quick we could make it go with no four-link, no trans brake, all the electronics. It was just all...
So that was the challenge that you set yourselves.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
In a way that you wanted to go racing.
In street form of a street car.
161 to the 60 for the Commodore in the rocket lane here, Mark. I said it sounded strong in the burnout. Let's see what he can do at the other end. 1041 with an 8, 134 mile an hour.
Yeah, that is strong indeed. And 12.4, 114 miles an hour for the Aeroflow. And for a street car, that is a great time.
Yeah, definitely. My RX2, two-step or valve bouncing. Two-step's probably a little bit better for engine longevity. Because it's somewhat a little bit more controlled. You're not relying on the extended limits of a component to do it for you. Because at some point that valve spring will say, I'm not doing this anymore.
Pretty much, yeah. They part company. We used to leave a line at, it used to range between 32, 3,200 to 2.8.
Oh, really? So that's not even, that's not high.
It wasn't
and
even
then
on the
flash
converter.
the converter.
Yeah, and that was, yeah, and that would 60 foot at a 136.
Wow. So what was your stall in that scenario?
That had a 6.2 converter in it.
Yeah, wow. So flash big time on the converter.
Yeah.
How tough is this little Gemini wagon? I
Love it.
saw it out in the staging lanes when I was out the pack. Not sure what's in it, but I don't think it's standard, just quietly. 189 with a 7 to the 60. And drives around the Falcon 11, 67 with a 6, 117 mile an hour.
Wow. 14.3, 95 miles an hour. That had a really good top end charge, didn't it?
Where's Stewie? We didn't find out what's in the Gemini.
Quite possible, because there was, in the day, it was a really good conversion into the Geminis.
Yeah, well, they do. They've got a pretty big engine bay, I think.
Yes.
Don't they? And I mean, the rotary is not a big motor, but
Yes. Yep. I don't know. Once we get hold of Stu, we'll get him out there and have a look at that one. And the Corona wagon, but I haven't seen the Corona wagon back out.
Yeah, no, I think the Corona wagon,
Might have
we've
been
seen it do
trailers.
those 2 runs, and that was as far as it went.
That's right, it had that.
Yeah, had the
big,
Schmalky run.
Yeah, that's it.
Two to the 60 for the Rocket Lane, 177 in the Aeroflow. 1047, 141 mile an hour.
See how much that thing come on once it was into boost. Wow. 11.7, 115 for the Aeroflow.
Doing 106 at half track was the Rocket Lane. So you might think 106 mile an hour is not that fast, but we're talking nearly 170 k's an hour here.
Yep. And that's half track.
That's fairly moving in 200 metres for a
Yep.
street car.
Yep.
Or in any car, but
And you can see the way it just torque drives. (16.2), 85 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane, to a 17.0 at 89 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Just excuse me, boys. I'm going up to the back of the staging lanes just to have a gaze at this.
what?
So do excuse me for the 15, 20 minutes.
You're excused.
We need a note from your
Yeah,
mum.
where's your signed note? Mark said he was going to dock your pay, but I said that's not fair. 084 on the tree, 4-hour Aeroflow racer. And a 1465, 98 mile an hour.
And 16.9, 79 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. Ah.
A big pickup.
Yeah.
First pass of the night in the Rocket Lane. I haven't seen it run before.
No, I haven't either. Looks like first time up.
Just attention in the staging lanes. If anybody has any duct tape by any chance, could you guys just bring it up to the gentleman with the orange Plymouth Duster, please? If anybody has got some race tape or some tape, and just bring it to the driver because he needs to stick something down on the Duster, please.
Good bit of 100 miles an hour tape. Does everything.
No, it didn't need to be two. It's got to be 200 mile an hour.
Oh, you got to go to the
Yeah.
performance version.
Yeah. It's the fibre reinforced one, mate.
Yeah.
And then remove any surface finishing on whatever you're trying to take it off.
Yeah, when you pull it off the paint, don't pull it off too hard.
Very close on the reaction times for these two, but the Aeroflow lane gets there first, 14.37 with a 7, 101 mile an hour through the finish line.
Might have been the Falcon leaving the line, a lot of squirreling of tyres.
Yeah, a little bit of smoke out of the Aeroflow lane at about 1,000-foot mark. And it rolls on through for 14.76, 71 mile an hour to 14.23, I think it was, in the Rocket lane. Oh, both races went in deep stage there.
Yeah, just roll them both back out, reset the computers and start again.
14.62 with an 8. Takes the win there. 97 mile an hour.
And 15.1 for the Aeroflow lane.
And at 13.85 there. 103 mile an hour for the Rocket Lane to take the win.
And 14.694 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
I'll tell you what, Steve. I just spoke with the gentleman who's driving the Plymouth Duster.
Yes.
He was just telling me he wants to try and run an 11 in the car, just have a nice 11-second streeter. But he was just telling me that he's been taking the car down Northern Beaches to Jason T. Of course, if you've been around the motorsport scene for as long as I have, if not longer, the Tilly name is a household name in motorsport here in Sydney. Of course, the Tilly's well known for their Valiants and Mopars that they do run. Have been racing for a very, very long time down on Winbourne Avenue, down in Brookvale, Tilly Racing.
Yeah, Brendan.
So it's great to see that Brad and Cameron and Jason getting behind a car that we've got here racing tonight. And I'll tell you what, Steve, that is a sensational looking Duster. I think that if Frank Mamone was here, he'd be a little bit jealous.
It's funny you mentioned that name, Stu. He's on the comeback. He was going to be racing 2 weeks ago at the last weekend, the Grudge Kings event, which has been postponed.
Okay.
So Frank had entered the Chevy Nova in a class for Grudge Kings, but with the pending wet weather that we were going to have for last weekend, the promoter decided to reschedule the event. So if you were looking forward to coming to Grudge Kings last weekend and can't make it, check out the track's website. The revised date escapes me at the top of my head right now. I'm pretty sure it was in October sometime, so keep your eyes on the track's website. I'm sure if you can find the post on Facebook, there was a date that was mentioned. But one of our popular events here at Sydney Dragway is the Grudge Kings event.
We got the EF Falcon up against the
So,
VT.
Stephen, Mark, you want to hear something funny?
Go on, mate.
Well, you know that gentleman I mentioned earlier that drove the white ute that was racing his son?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's coming out to race again, but this time he's racing his daughter's boyfriend's dad in his BMW.
Wow, okay.
The convertible. So are you smiling? He was so happy to beat his son, but you know, now he's got to race the in-laws. Oh, I love it. Family atmosphere here at Aeroflow Race for Real. That's what we want to see. As that screaming typhoon goes past me. Now, the whole reason why I've come out, because obviously I had a good chat out the back with some great people that are racing here tonight, but we got this Chevrolet down here, which is just sensational. I think even Ben had to stop and look at this. But also we've got a Mazda RX-7 down here as well, so we've got the best of both worlds.
168 to the 60 for the Falcon.
Well, it's on a charge, isn't it?
Sure is. 10.38 with a 5, 134 mile an hour.
And 16.4 at 82 miles an hour.
Just took his time to get up on boost, but while Stu was talking there, that car in the Aeroflow lane went 015 on the tree, so I think that's the quickest that I've seen tonight.
Yeah.
We do need to confirm that we have enough entries for the reaction time money to be on the table, though. We couldn't get two different race cars sitting on the racetrack right now. You got the
one's aerodynamic and the other one's got
and the other one's not.
Yeah.
The other one's lighter. The other one's not. One's got rotaries. The other one's got pistons. Oh, the RX-7 tapping the brakes at 1,000 foot. The big Chevy doing the right thing and getting down the racetrack. Sub 12 seconds. There we go, Mark. 11.99 with a 5, 114 mile an hour. I think we were going to give him an 11-second pass earlier. He's done it all on his own.
Yeah. I reckon that when the big Chev went past, it was just the disturbance of air going
You reckon
past
move the Mazda over to the centre line? Potentially. It is moving a lot of air.
Mark, all I'm going to say is no comment.
I thought they were supposed to be fast, Stewie.
Yeah, well, I was kind of rooting for the Mazda there, I'll tell you. I was right behind him, cheering him on.
Is that a backhanded comment if I've ever heard one? It's funny though, Mark, why you like the two-stroke motorcycle, but you don't like the Mazda. I mean, well, when I say don't like, it's not your pick of car, right?
No, yeah. Yeah.
Well, yes, it's true, Ben.
Yeah, they are all two-strokes. Yeah.
But you get my point.
Yeah, I do get your point. Yeah. But I've got to say, I admire the rotaries.
Yeah, I think as car people, we can look at anything, whether they're our choice of car or not, and go, you know what, this person's put a lot of effort into it, and I want to see it do well.
Yep.
I wasn't always like that. If it didn't have a Ford badge on it when I was younger, I wasn't interested. But
well, guys, we've got a Hypo 4G about to come out.
I've changed.
From Mixed Motorsport. Now, this thing, boys, is running what looks like little slicks at all four corners on this car. And they had the bonnet up, and I was having a look at the engine. It's got a pretty sizable turbo sitting on this thing as well. I can't wait. I'll tell you, get this thing sorted. It's going to go quick. We love our Pro Street Evos here at Sydney Dragway, but this thing is just wild.
Well, Stu, I'll tell you what, the couple of passes it's put in so far have been pretty impressive. Tell you what, that was probably full noise half track, up to about half track.
Yeah, certainly out 60 foot at the Commodore, but I think that one of the hardest things with the Evo is getting them off the start line.
Yes.
I think it's the key to building a good run with any car, whether it be all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, or other. I guess the key is then getting the shift points. Now, I don't know whether something wasn't quite right and the driver decided to get out of it there, but yeah, definitely there's a lot of potential.
Oh, jeez. VK come out of there virtually full sideways.
Well, there's a big set of tyre tracks there, boys.
Went 081 on the tree. Still ran at 12.95. 117. The Tesla in the other lane, 11.65 there, I think it was, with an 8.
Yeah. Well, big burnout from the Commodore.
Yes, this Commodore has been doing pretty good skids all night, just quietly. Hasn't gone unnoticed. 092 on the tree for the Rocket Lane.
Yeah, Ian back out again in his high comp prepared Commodore 1290. Nice and consistent car, that one. So the gentleman was telling me, Steve, that they had the bodywork done on this car down in Victoria.
Oh, yes. The Duster you're talking about, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
the Duster, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the Duster. They had a lot of the bodywork done on that car at a very good shop. Didn't mention which one, but nevertheless, the work of the body on this car, Steve, is just straight as an arrow, mate.
Oh, I don't know whether
And the Grange mark, unfortunately, has broken. You could hear metal breaking, which is what we don't like to hear.
Okay.
I didn't hear it go bang, though.
Nah, I think it might have been the sound of the cars that sort of muffled it a bit. Possibly if it's spitting parts there all over the place, it's one of the drive shafts.
And the Duster, meanwhile, the Duster's gone through, Mark, 13,000. So nearly into the 12s. And I'll tell you what, while we get that car sorted out on the start line, we'll throw to our big screen for a word with some of our supporters here at Sydney Dragway. Mark, I and Stu will be back with you very, very shortly. Aeroflow, Race for Real, Wednesday nights.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuels since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win a USA Supercars drive experience at the Circuit of the Americas and Las Vegas racetracks. Drive a Ferrari, Lamborghini and Porsche. Visit Dallas, Austin, Las Vegas and LA. The trip for two includes airfares, luxury accommodation and $10,000 spending money for eligible Shannon's Club members. Plus, win a new Indian Motorcycle Sport Chief. To enter, take out new Shannon's insurance on your special car, daily drive, bike or home. Go online or call Shannon's on 134646.
Aeroflow, famous for our massive range of hose, fittings and performance products. Air filters, oil filters, fittings, engine and transmission parts, fuel systems, tanks, silicone hose, exhaust, air conditioning, turbo and nitrous accessories and more. Get your free catalogue and shop online now at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bank shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bank shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Aeroflow Race for Real. Mark and Steve, looks like it might have been the uni joint that went in the Grange. So the driver has just told me try and source a new one tomorrow.
Isn't that funny? We both heard a screaming V8 in a burnout. We both sat up and went, oh, where's that coming from?
Throw on the headset.
Yeah, throw on the headset. We've got David Matasevic in the Rocket lane, taking on that very nice HZ Holden in the Aeroflow lane. Now, the HZ switched over to the Aeroflow lane this time around. Matasevic goes 0.32 on the tree. Leads very nicely, 164 to the 60. Can't even hear the Cortina.
No.
10.82 with a 5, 127 mile an hour through the finish line.
And 11.6, 117 for the Aeroflow lane. So yeah, the Cortina had it all the way right through from reaction, 60, and then all the incrementals all the way down the track. Just
Hey Mark, those Holden Commodore Grangers,
Yes.
I take it they've got a similar setup in them as what the Commodore wagon would have. Would I be correct in saying that?
they're in the rear end.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're an independent.
You don't realise how long they are until you actually stand next to it and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, they got the. Yeah, they do have the station wagon floor pan in the Statesman. Well, Rocket Lane just launched out at a 1.6 and then got mid-track and just bailed out of it. 12.7, 71 miles an hour, but 11.5, 118 miles an hour. Sammy Joe trying out the new setup in their Commodore. The Commodore down the Rocket Lane up against the VPSS. .14.1, 100 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. VF Commodore in the Rocket Lane up against the VK. Well, the VF just out and gone. A 161, 64. 9.7, 144 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. And 10.9, 137 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, tell you what, that Commodore of Dominic Peroni is so fast and so consistent, isn't it, Mark? Like,
absolutely. Yep.
All right, next up we have Sean Sabello in the Holden Commodore. Taking on Steve McAuliffe in the Holden Ute.
So we're just dying to see a full noise pass out of this year.
Yes. Well, I know you are specifically because you're a Holden Ute fan. A little bit of a pedal there and out of it by half track. 10.77 with a 3, 105 for Sabello in the Aeroflow lane.
And yeah, just got 10-0, 104 miles out off for the Rocket.
It's 133 at half track, and I think that's about where he got off the throttle.
It was indeed.
I just got told, boys, that utes roughly around that 1600 horsepower mark, but it does have a set of radials on it.
Yes.
I don't know whether they've actually taken some power out of it on that run, because it didn't sound quite as throaty, and it looked like it left the line just a little bit better than he has previously.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Stu, actually, if they had taken a bit of power out of it, because last pass, it just left the line and just blew the tyres.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it, Mark? It's not all about making horsepower. You need to have the ability to get it to the racetrack.
Yes.
And if it's not the racetrack's fault, but because we're all racing on the same conditions, but it's how you manage. If you can manage that power, you feed it in or bring it in further down the racetrack, or not give it all the beans off the start line and try and manage the pass from there forward.
Yeah, and you're right there, Steve. I think they're starting the right place. They're trying to get it off the line at a decent 60 foot. Yeah, once you get past there, then it's just where you're going to put all your power in there.
Just like that. Big burnout from both competitors here. Ernest Hudson out in the Toyota Celica once again. Taking on
Joe. Joe's in his favourite lane.
Not sure if he's entered this car for the weekend. Of course, normally running in Top Sportsman as part of our Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship Series. Let's see if Ernest can get a little bit further down the racetrack on this pass. 013 on the tree for Sabello. Flashes a flame at around the 330 mark for Ernest, but he's still in it. And runs on through for an 8.54 with a 9, 160 mile an hour through the finish line to an 8.79 with a 2 at 150. I'll give him 157 there.
Yeah, it did indeed. That car was actually starting to throw flames from 60 onwards.
Yes.
I think through the gear changes. So once it starts to hit the rev range.
Yep. Which has been his issue all along. Like it's at the higher RPM is where it's starting to seem like it's misfiring or whatnot, but still running somewhat consistent though. They've all been 850 something.
Yeah, it's seems to be going really, really well. So I wonder if he's running a chip in the thing for where his limiter is,
and then that's causing an issue with the nitrous pipes.
So might have to go up a.
Don't know.
Well, 10-2, 145 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. 11-0, 118 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Not a real lot as those guys cross the line. 10.5, 146 for the Rocket Lane, 11.0, 140 for the Aeroflow lane. Oh, Harley getting really out of shape in the burnout. Well, Cheryl on the V rod down in the Aeroflow lane. Free 120 miles an hour for the V-Rod and 11.6, 117 for the Rocket Lane. Ten 9, 124 miles an hour to an 11.1 for the Rocket Lane. To an 11.9. Eleven 8, 110 miles an hour to a 13.1, 98 miles an hour. Barnes in the Aeroflow lane up against the trail bike in the Rocket lane. Oh, like just moving around mid-track. Great reaction time. 10.5, 139 miles an hour to a 15.8, 79 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. Nine 146 miles an hour for the Rocket lane to a 10.7, 133 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. 10-2, 146 miles an hour to a 13-3, 101 miles an hour, but a great reaction time for the Aeroflow lane. Team 1, 135 miles an hour for Michael Rishis. And 11.5, 124 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. Thirteen free, 112 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane to a 16.7 for the Rocker lane.
Well, guys, I'm just down below you in the tunnel, and I'm just next to the driver here with this GR Corolla. And look, as we said, we've seen what the Yaris's can do. It's great to see a GR Corolla out here. How's your night going, buddy?
Yeah, good.
Tell me a little. What's the weight difference between one of these and your Yaris? Do you know?
About 250 kilos.
Okay. So it is substantially heavier, but it must be a fun car to drive through twisties.
Oh, you'll have to ask my wife. It's her car.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got to get the wife out here racing it. That's awesome. Back you guys upstairs.
Yeah, I think the weight difference is one piston. Stu, want to know the difference between the Corolla to the Yaris?
Oh, right. Okay, I see what you saw. I missed the very start of that conversation. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, so there's one cylinder and corresponding bits of crank and engine block. But, of course, we did see the other week that the name of the workshop just escapes me. But, of course, we're at that little Yaris. He went into the nines and was making 800 and something horsepower at the front wheels, which there's that magic number.
Yes.
There's 1,000 plus out of 3 cylinders is pretty insane, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, especially when you start doing the maths on that one.
Mm. I mean, I do think, honestly, the advantage of having a sequential gearbox certainly helps that car get down the racetrack in quicker fashion than if it didn't have that. But, you know, that's still an awesome achievement.
Last week, I had I was in a meeting with a lot of Toyota people.
Yes.
And I did actually mention the horsepower figure out of the Yaris.
Yes.
Yes, it was opened up a lot of eyes.
Yes.
So I hope everybody that is watching around the world and around Australia via YouTube, hope you guys are having a fantastic night. Obviously, I'm down here on the deck, and I can't see what people are saying about me.
They're having a good old chat.
But I hope you guys are enjoying the racing, and also to our hardy spectators that are here tonight, you guys rock. Of course, it is school holidays. Hope you kids are having a great time so far. And what better way to spend it than here at Sydney Dragway on a Wednesday night?
Not too much in the reaction times of these two cars, but the Aeroflow lane definitely with the performance advantage here. And runs on through for a 12.46 at 114 mile an hour.
And 14 free at 95 miles an hour. Yeah, you could definitely see he had the a little bit more power in the top end. Well, Honda just going around the water.
Did really well to the 60-foot mark, went 164 to the 60 and rolls on through for a 12.33.
It just,
It's a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seemed to back off a little bit mid-track and then just slowly fed it on again. VW up against the Commodore.
1.7 to the 60 for the V-dub. And 11.08 with a 9, 123 miles an hour.
And 185 miles an hour. Wonder if that's the person with the little VW that's chasing the 10 tonight. Very close.
Looking at that time, I would say yes. I think he said he went 11.1 the last time the car was brought out.
So if he's ditched all the interior and just down to a race seat, he's probably lost a bit of weight in there.
What else can you remove? Although enough weight for a 10th is a fair bit.
Yep.
We'll come out next time the doors are off it. No, I don't suggest you do that. Because I dare say our IHRA official down there will politely tell you to go back and put them all back on.
Go back home.
You might have been able to get away with that back in ye old times, but not nowadays. $12.92 with the 2, 111 mile an hour for our racer in the rocket lane to a 16.91 at 90.3 mile an hour in the Aeroflow lane.
Just a quick mop up and down on the line, just condensation running out of the exhaust of the cars. We've got the big ute in the Aeroflow lane. 14.2, 96 miles an hour to a 15.4 at 92 miles an hour. Camry in the Aeroflow lane. .11.7, 116 at the Aeroflow lane.
Here's this little Gemini back again. A lot of gusto in the burnout once again, Mark.
Yeah, it was indeed, and had a nice little whistle to it.
Sure did.
Oh.
Getting all up on that steering wheel. Probably not what the driver wanted at this stage of the night, but 13.19, unrepresentative. We saw that car deep into the 12s, I think it was on the last pass.
Yep. And 17.2, 77 miles an hour.
Well, I don't think it's a 2J VK. It's one of our listeners on the live stream. Definitely turbocharged, that's for sure. Doesn't have the lumpy idle that you sometimes get with the rotaries though either.
No.
So maybe the next bet would be, because we all know that the little Isuzu motor does respond very well to a turbocharger.
Yep.
Steve Sloan up in Queensland with the 1800 overhead valve one. I don't think that it's not even overhead cam. Overhead valve thing running into the 7s at 180 something mile an hour. I remember going up to the transporter thinking I was going to see some exotic twin cam, 16 valve things in the engine bay. Nope.
Yeah, surprising a motor of that age, being able to handle that type of boost.
Yes. Well, the other one back in the day when I was racing was the Sigma motor, the Astron.
Yes.
Because obviously the 2.6 litre, the capacity definitely worked well, and I knew a couple of people ran them very, very tough in, one in a sedan, ran into, I think, into the 9s, and then there was a gentleman ran one in a rear engine dragster as well. He went into the 7s with that power plant.
We've got the Lexus down the rocket lane. Not really sure what is down in the Aeroflow lane. The car?
I'm thinking of Focus. I think. But you know how poor my night vision is.
Yeah.
And it's a black car. I'm just looking where the tail lights are. Definitely up on the back pillar.
.8, 104 miles an hour to a 15.2 at 97 miles an hour.
And the Rocket Lane out in front with this one. 14.64 with a 5, 100 mile an hour through the finish line to a 14.34 at 98 mile an hour. So quicker on the ET, but slower on the speed. And the Subaru gets there first, 14.08 with a 1, 103 mile an hour.
Just holding these couple of cars up just while we have a quick mop down on the starting line. Well, Falcon in the Rocket Lane.
Oh, the Falcon also all up on the wheel. Having a little bit more time to correct it though.
Definitely shooting for a light.
Yeah, and 011 red on the tree. I'm pretty sure that was the car that went 015 on the green side earlier.
14.6 for the Aeroflow lane.
And that's how you do a burnout.
Yes, indeed.
The only bad thing there he did is he went across the start line.
Subaru up against the Falcon. Subaru just gone a little bit too deep.
.178 to the 60 for the Falcon. And runs on through 10.45, 136 miles an hour.
And 14.2, 99 miles an hour. That would have to be the third or fourth pass on those times.
Yeah. That is one quick road car. All right, Stewie's little Mazda back on the start line.
He's up against the VP Commodore. Mazda moving around a fair bit, but 16.4, 82 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane, and 12.7, 102 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
So maybe it wasn't the big Chev that he was racing against.
No. Tesla up against the VP Commodore, having a big run of VPs tonight.
Yeah. I know you must be in your happy place.
Yes. See all those parts I need.
That's not what I meant, Mark. The Tesla all the way, 182 to the 60. And runs on through for an 11.73, 113 mile an hour. Let's see what the Commodore can do. Runs on through for 13.1 at 102. You can see the night air. It is very still. There is a little bit of a breeze blowing, but definitely the air must be getting dense because the smoke is not leaving the start line cauldron as quick as it did probably an hour ago. Of course, we've seen it here a couple of times at Sydney Dragway recently where the smoke cloud just sits just above the top of the mounds here at both sides. It's actually a bit of an eerie view from up here because it's about our eye level.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Ben's just jumped on his phone. According to whichever weather app he's on, where 40, the corrected altitude, was it? The density altitude was minus 40 meters. Yeah, 40 meters, Ben. So it should be pretty good for making a little bit of horsepower out there tonight.
Yep. We've got the rumble of the Lancer just below us.
Sounds like it's got some pretty decent cams under the bonnet.
Yep. We said Commodore up against the Audi.
Commodore away nicely, 177 to the 60. The Audi just behind. The horsepower of the Audi's going to get around at the top end of the racetrack. 11.44 with a 120 mile an hour through the finish line to a 12.32 with a 2 at 108. Wow, the Aeroflow lane coming alive and dancing with the centre line. 10.008, 162 mile an hour through the finish line. Wow, 120 mile an hour at half track. Nothing like having to get up on the wheel at over 130 odd, 200 k's an hour. .11.92 with a 6.119 mile an hour through the finish line for the Aeroflow lane. And the Duster, a 13.34 at 108. And Brian in the Commodore in the Rocket lane. Leaving with a 2.48 reaction time. Not much in this one at all. 2.57 for the racer in the Aeroflow lane. And Brian's Commodore out in front at the moment. Runs on through for a 12.30 at 112 and a 13.92 at 106. got David Matasevic in the Cortina out for another pass. This time in the rocket lane. Can't quite see at the moment what the car is in the Aeroflow lane. I think it's a Commodore.
It's buried in smoke.
Yes. 143 light for the Cortina. And a 1064 with a 9 at 127 mile an hour.
And 12.5 at 118 miles an hour for the Aeroflow.
Let's see if we can see another 11-second pass out of the big Chevy. From memory, this Commodore was pretty quick as well. .202 to the 60. Slightly better than the Commodore. And a 12.07, 106 mile an hour for the Chev to a 12.20 at 118. So it just goes to show the aero of the Commodore.
Yep.
It's probably robbing a good 5 or 6 mile an hour out of the Chev. On 2-1 on the tree for Sammy Joe in the Commodore. 1.6 to the 60 once again. And 11.51 with a 4, 118 mile an hour through the finish line.
Well, Stephen Mark just had a chat with a gentleman in the Gemini wagon.
Yes.
It's actually a 1.8 litre Isuzu motor in it with a turbo. So that motor was actually in the road from back in the early days. So been around. And the guy just keeps this thing meticulous. It is so clean, tidy, and he's a nice bloke that drives it too.
Thank you very much for doing that, Stu. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's got the trusty Isuzu 4-banger in it.
Yep.
Keeping it all factory in inverted commas. 924 with a 150 mile an hour. Which car was that? I was watching the...
It'll be interesting to see what boost
camera
he's putting through the Isuzu.
Ask the head studs, they'll tell you.
I reckon they'll just be going, oh!
Steve Bacala just attempting to do a burnout in the Commodore, not wanting to come up on boost. So I guess that's the issue, isn't it, Mark? You try and soften them up to get them down the racetrack, but then you sacrifice other parts of the run for that to happen. 165 to the 60, and there was a couple of pedals just after the 60-foot mark. Steve rolling out of the throttle. The Commodore in the other lane, a 13 to 59 at 108.
That's not the one that used to be white, is it? That yet? Always been black?
For as long as I can remember, yes.
Okay. Pretty soft. A burnout from the VH wagon. The VS Commodore right beside it.
Again, the wagon just moving around on the hit, but straight enough to stay in the throttle this time. And 890 with a 5. Look at the speed there, Mark. 153 mile an hour with the shootout.
Wow, that is absolutely
Look at the 60
top end.
Look at the 60 foot, 136 to the 60. That left like a rocket.
Indeed. And you're right, it just had a little bit of movement rounded off the line, but then just settled right down for a good pass. Okay, I think we're just waiting for this bike to clear the bottom escape road. He'll do a bypass. Eleven 7 116 miles an hour in the Aeroflow lane. Ten 8 145 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane to a 12.0 115 miles an hour.
Mark, I think we're about 5 or 6 minutes away from going Pro Tree. If what I read online today was what Darian mentioned in an email, and of course we've been running what we call the full tree here at Sydney Dragway tonight, where all 3 ambers come down on each side of the racetrack. Pro Tree is where they all flash at once.
Yes.
So you get all 3 per side, so all 6 lights. So we're only a few minutes away from doing that. So I dare say that if you're sitting in lanes 2, 3 and 4, you're probably about to face a Pro Tree. Although I am just a humble commentator. Of course, it does make it tricky to cut a light once we go to Pro Tree, especially in a road car.
Yep.
That was a big move over towards the wall there for the rider in the Aeroflow lane. Had a second shot at the throttle, 11.80, 123 to a 10.78.
12.0 at 109 miles an hour to a 13.7 at 95 miles an hour. Harley just roll forward and break the beam. Zero, 114 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Jesse Barnes lining up in the rocket lane once again on his Suzuki GSX 1300 for Pro-Tune motorcycles. No doubt getting some practice in for this weekend's Speed Addict Clothing Code Championship. 107 on the tree for Jesse. The bike set up so well. 115 mile an hour at half track, runs on through for a 10.06 at 143 mile an hour through the finish line to a 12.1 at 111 in the Aeroflow lane. And 11.79 with a 5, 122 mile an hour in the rocket lane.
And 12.3 at 121 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Nice clean pass in the rocket lane. 9.78 with an 8, 148 miles an hour.
And 15.7 at 80 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Could have been just like a flash going past you.
Yeah, you can see from up here, like for us, the cars and bikes are driving away from us directly, so
Yes.
it's sometimes more difficult to see speed. I feel like if you were sitting, say, half track and you just watched right in front of you and saw the bike or car run across your vision, you'd go, wow, that's fast. I mean, you know, obviously with our experience, you're sitting up here going, wow, that looks fast from up here.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see the increments on the computer as they run through the timing blocks, but still, the previous bike, 150 mile an hour is a no slouch. 11.01 there for the rider in the rocket lane. I think that was Cheryl to a 10.25 in the Aeroflow lane.
Okay, the Suzuki 750 down in the Aeroflow lane.
Whoa! Well, I think if that was anybody other than Brett, I think we might have been picking that bike up off the racetrack.
Yes, indeed. And he shut it down early. 11.7, 94 miles an hour.
Not a big tire on the back of that bike.
No.
And it was doing its best to earn its keep, but still 105 at half track there, Mark.
Yep. And you don't want to see a bike like that fall over.
No.
All right, guys, we're going to have Sean Dartnell coming out now, about to take on the Foz.
Very clean looking Foz, by the way, there, Stu. $370 on the tree for the Hyundai. Looks like the Forester has the horsepower at the top end, and a 14.15 at 110 mile an hour.
And 16.7 at 82 miles an hour. The Commodore in the Rocket Lane up against the VF Commodore in the Aeroflow lane.
$10.70 with a 6, 128 mile an hour in the Rocket Lane.
And 10.1, 137 miles an hour in the Aeroflow lane.
The Aeroflow lane will take this one out, a 13.49 at 115 to a 14.33 at 95.
The V-Dub up against the Toyota Import. We've got the big Ford Ute in the Rocket Lane.
What did it run on its last pass? I can't remember. We'll get an ET on the big Ford pickup, chasing down the hatchback in the Aeroflow lane. And at 13.56 there, 100 mile an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
14.1.
Yeah, wow.
That's not bad at all for a big, heavy car like that. We got the Gemini down in the burnout box. Stu went down and got a bit of information from the owner. 1800 Isuzu motor. With a well-working turbo.
Yeah, I might not have a choice whether it's going to work or not. Tell you what, certainly comes alive when that boost starts reading in the positive direction. Again, a little bit loose in the back for the wagon. There was a pedal there.
It was indeed.
It still goes 12.05 at 118 to a 16.82 at 84 mile an hour this time.
Tell you what, Steve, we might go up to the big screen to some of our sponsors, get a bit of a word from them, and we'll be back very, very shortly here. Aeroflow, race for real.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision-impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to the Western Weekender. The Western Weekender is Penrith's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment, puzzles and so much more. The Western Weekender is the heartbeat of Penrith and it's out every Thursday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area, home delivered, or check out westernweekender.com.au.
Boosted turbochargers from Aeroflow Performance are designed for the automotive enthusiast who wants optimal performance at a competitive price. We have a range of turbochargers in both ceramic ball bearing and 360-degree journal bearing options to suit your power goals from 200 up to 3,000 horsepower. To help turbocharge your vehicle, Aeroflow Performance also have a large range of turbocharger accessories. From steam pipe turbo manifolds, external wastegates, and intake and exhaust solutions, you can have your car boosted in no time. For a full listing, check out aeroflowperformance.com.
Speed Addict Clothing Co. Fast clothes for fast people. Shop now at speedaddictco.com.au.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw car driver.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannons are giving you the chance to win a USA Supercars Drive experience at the Circuit of the Americas and Las Vegas racetracks. Drive a Ferrari, Lamborghini and Porsche. Visit Dallas, Austin, Las Vegas and LA. The trip for two includes airfares, luxury accommodation and $10,000 spending money for eligible Shannons Club members. Plus, win a new Indian Motorcycle Sport Chief. To enter, take out new Shannons insurance on your special car, daily drive, bike or home. Go online or call Shannons on 134646.
Tell you what, we've got some beautiful sounding Harleys here tonight at Aeroflow Race for Real. This one gets off the line like a scalded cat. Beautiful off the line. Has got the race win? No, but still a 10.88. That is a great, great pass. Now, boys, I've got to say, and I did say it earlier, how nice this bike was. I went down and had a look at it in the pits. It is definitely one of the best-looking Harleys I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because it's here racing. The presentation of that bike is just, it belongs in a showroom, not on a drag strip. Put it that way, boys.
Yeah, a lot of people put a lot of effort into their bikes and cars and everything, and yeah, it's just an absolute pleasure to look at them, isn't it, Stu? Well, 11.3, 128 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. 122 for the Aeroflow lane.
A little bit of wheel spin there for the rider in the Rocket Lane.
Yep. 10.9, 146 miles an hour to a 9.9, 149 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. $11.01.19 for the Aeroflow lane.
To a 12.10.109 in the Rocket Lane. Couple of small flashes of flame out of the exhaust pipes for the Commodore in the Rocket Lane in the burnout.
Yeah, sounds so sweet in the burnout.
It does.
$1.62 for the 60. Goes through 10.2, 135 miles an hour. And 16.6 at 82 miles now for the Aeroflow.
Gemini switching over to the Aeroflow lane this time around. Again, absolutely just smashing those rear tyres. They probably don't need the big burnout, but that's what he's going to do anyway. $12.50 for the Rocket Lane, 114 mile an hour. To a 12.01 at 118. For the wagon in the Aeroflow lane there, Mark.
Yeah, just the standard of that car.
Something a little bit different. You don't see the panel van very often.
Even when they were in, like in production, there wasn't a heap of them around.
I now don't even have to look out the window and know what car that is. What did you run on the last one? 10:20 or 10:30 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, there we go. It tells us 10:50 because we've switched over to
right,
Braintree now. It tells us 10:54 with a 134 mile an hour for the Falcon in the Rocket Lane. What's the IHRA person saying? You do that again.
He's overshot the line again.
I think there was a small pedal there at around the 30-foot mark, I think. Still a 10:44, still went quick. 134 mile an hour once again.
VK Commodore up against the VP Commodore.
Not a bad light for the VK, 280 on the tree. And runs on through for an 11:53 at 119.
And 16.2 at 83 miles an hour for the Commodore.
Again, the quickest pass in Pro Tree there for the VK. So maybe the weather helping those engines make a little bit more horsepower, Mark.
Yes.
Ben tells me we've nearly nudging the negative 60 metre mark at the moment.
Okay. Well, bike in the Rocket Lane's just gone quicker again. Previous pass was a 10.6.
Harley in the Rocket Lane there, lifted the front wheels. And gets there first, 11.05 with a 121 mile an hour. To a 12.01 at 115.
So the Harley down here in the Aeroflow lane has run the best of an 11.7. It's pretty quick out of that bike.
Yeah. Some quick bikes in that group, in the Sydney Random Riders.
Yes.
It can either be a good thing or a bad thing, I guess.
10.8, 127 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. And 11.7, 115 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
11.58 with a 128 mile an hour there for the Rocket Lane.
And 11.9, 112 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Well, two quick bikes down on the line at the moment. Rocket Lane run the best of a 9.9 at 149 miles. And the Aeroflow lane, a 10.9 at 146 miles an hour. So both got a big top end.
Looks like the Aeroflow lane's going to take this one. 9.41. It's a massive jump by 1.5 seconds.
Yep.
.11.09 with the 7. Nice and consistent. Much bigger speed this time out of the Aeroflow lane bike though.
Oh, Commodore just frying the tyres.
Yeah. On the hit there too. Didn't even want to try and move forward, did it?
No, not at all. Lost all momentum on that pass. 14.7, 76 miles an hour.
And the Aeroflow lane will get there first. A 13.72 at 106.
And 15.1 at 114 for the Rocket lane.
.14.68 at 103 for our Aeroflow lane racer.
And 16.6, 85 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. Another nice big burnout from the Falcon.
There's not going to be much rev left on these tyres for the trip home, I think, unless the tow truck's already been organised. Can't even see the start line right now. All you can see is the a pair of brake lights driving away from me. And 10.46 with an 8 at 135. So again, slightly quicker.
Free, 83 miles an hour. 11.8, 114 miles an hour to a 12.2, 114 miles an hour.
Our Rocket Lane racer stretching the legs from half track and runs on through for a 10.89 with a 129 mile an hour through the finish line to a 12.06 at 113. And the Aeroflow lane will take this one out 9.96 with a 149 mile an hour.
And 11.3 at 129 miles an hour for a Rocket Lane. Photographers are down on the line, getting some really great photos.
Yeah, just trying out a number of different angles as you do. And the Aeroflow lane takes this one out 10.89 with a 126 mile an hour through the finish line.
And 12.2, 110 miles an hour.
Again, another big burnout from the Commodore. Depending on what sort of style of tyre he's running, bigger burnout might not be the answer.
No, that's right.
I'm going to say no.
Definitely got really out of shape off the line then. 12.6, 88 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane to a 13.8 at 103 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. Falcons doing all the chasing. Won't get there. 10.7, 134 miles an hour to a 12.3, 115 miles an hour.
.465 reaction time for the rider in the Rocket lane. Going to take the win line here too, 10.24 with a 4 at 148 mile an hour.
Got our crew down here at the moment, just having a good look at the track. Just mopping up any residual fluids down on the track.
I think our previous Rocket Lane racer might have been splitting some horsepower. They've copped a fair bit of work in the last 20 minutes or so. 11.93 with a 6, 148 mile an hour there for the Rocket Lane. To an 11.99 with a 1, 113 in the Aeroflow.
$11.5, 127 miles now to a 13 to 82 miles an hour.
Yeah, something not right there for the rider in the Aeroflow lane. It sounded like there was a whole heap of neutrals there or something.
Yeah.
He'd run into the 10s earlier tonight. Launch this time around for the Holden driver in the Rocket Lane, Mark.
Yeah, 60 foot looks a heaps better. 10.3, 134 miles an hour to a 13.5, 107 miles an hour. Three, 146 miles an hour to an 11.1.
Wasn't a bad race, that one. The Aeroflow lane got away from the start line much better, but the Rocket Lane charged on home to take the win. The Harley rider there having a lot of work to do off the start line. That rear wheel slipping around a little bit. 12.19 with a 3, 112 mile an hour to a 9.96 with a 6 at 149. Sorry, Mark.
You're all right, mate.
11.87 with a 5 at 110 for our rider in the rocket lane there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the poles are in the hole. So that is it for tonight, boys. We've just had our last passes down the quarter mile for tonight's Aeroflow race for real.
We've had a good night here, Stu. It's been a good mix of cars, good mix of performance as well from all different levels, from from very quick to more what we'd expect from some of our hatches and more sort of family cars, if you like. But a good evening's entertainment had. Certainly from our point of view up here in the commentary box, and I think also you certainly talked to a few of our racers about their rides tonight, and enjoyed all of the things to see and do here. Of course, the chatter on the live stream has been fantastic, as per always. Those viewers on the YouTube channel always chatter amongst themselves and make some good comments. Makes us all laugh up here occasionally as well, which is good. Of course, as Stu and Mark and myself have mentioned a few times tonight, this weekend we'll see the next round of the Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship Series here at Sydney Dragway, kicking off at around 9 a.m, I believe, on Saturday morning. Everything from a junior drag bike all the way up to a top sportsman and a supercharged outlaws. So if you'd like to come out and watch a day of sportsman racing here at Sydney Dragway, come out and watch the venue live, or I'm sure Ben will be doing a live stream also via the Sydney Dragway official YouTube channel if you can't make it to the venue. As always, keep your eyes on the racetrack's website, www.sydneydragway.com.au, for any upcoming events or posts that happen there. Of course, Facebook, another good way to stay in touch with what's happening at the racetrack. On behalf of Sydney Dragway officials and the management here at the track, and of course my co-commentators, I'd like to wish everybody a good evening, and we look forward to seeing you here at Sydney Dragway in the very near future. Good night and be safe on the roads.
Yeah, thanks, Stu. Thanks, Ben. And thanks, Steve. And to all the racers and everyone that makes it possible.